Yeah. What's your case of constructive dismissal?
Well,
The one in your workplace.
they constructed a dismissal by undermining her.
Mm.
By that, they took away some of her responsibilities.
So we'll call her Manager A.
Yeah.
So Manager A.
No, Manager A is the manager. She was Manager B, assistant manager.
Oh, so let's call her Manager B.
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about Manager B.
Well, Manager B was constructively dismissed
Uh,
by reason of watering down her responsibilities, making life uncomfortable for her,
yeah.
so that she would resign.
So they gave her a hard time at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
And that's called constructive dismissal.
Really?
They want to get rid of you, so they make life unpleasant, so you'll pack the job in. You're constructing a person's dismissal.
Mm.
And that is against the law.
That's a bit similar to mine before.
I told you should not have resigned at that place.
Yeah.
That might have been what they were trying doing to you.
Yeah.
They were
yeah.
constructing a dismissal.
Yeah, like
So you sat yourself.
showing violence there.
If you'd have hung on, and then they'd have sacked you, you might have had grounds to go to a tribunal. And if you did, and that's what happens. That's what happened to
Manager
Brenda
B.
Porter.
Manager B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll call her Manager B.
It doesn't matter. It's not against the law to name her.
Yeah.
She knows I went to the tribunal and gave evidence on her behalf.
Yeah. And then what else? They gave her a hard
She
time.
offered me money when she got the payout. I said, no. I said, I didn't do it for money, Brenda.
No. What did they do? Oh, narrate it.
What do you mean, what did they do?
Remember what did the manager do to her?
Well, I just told you, Pat. They undermined her position by taking away her responsibilities and telling her not to mix with the patients so much. When it was part of her duty, always has. One of the things she liked was mixing with old folk.
Yeah.
And taking care of them. And the manager stopped her from that. She put her onto duties where she couldn't do that.
Oh yeah, mixing.
Like what? Like what?
Huh?
Like what?
Well, like instead of her going round in the daytime talking to the old folk and that, they stuck her in the office, for instance, and gave her jobs to do in there, so she couldn't get out and mix with the people. The other one, which affected me, as I told you, I was in charge at night. So when all the majority of the day staff had gone home, when we had a death, and I took care of the death, and made telephone calls to the people if telling them that their relation had died and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
After I'd dealt with all that and got the doctor if they were still alive, or got the ambulance if they were already dead, I used to then go on the phone to Brenda Porter and tell them that we'd had a death in the home.
Yeah.
And I'd give her all the information about it. And then she would make a decision whether she was going to come into the home herself or leave it until the morning. But she wasn't walking into the home unknown, if you know what I mean. Walking in not knowing there'd been a death. Yeah.
I was like, you say,
you just come walking in and she doesn't know. So I had to, that was part of my job to put her in the picture. Who had died, the circumstances of the death,
Yeah.
where they were, whether they'd been taken to the mortuary, you know, whether the body was still there, waiting for the ambulance people to come and collect. I had to tell her all this.
Yeah.
Well, when her and the manager fell out, Sue Coyle, who was the manager, come to me
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, Ken," she said, in future, if you have any incidents during the night, do not ring Brenda Porter."
And who's you going to ring?
Well, just a minute, let me finish. She said, "Do not ring Brenda Porter." She said, "Ring me." So I thought, hang on a minute, this is unusual, you know. I said, you want me, if it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, to ring you? I said, "Is that what you're saying?"
Yeah.
She says, "Yes, ring me, don't ring Brenda." I said, "Okay, that's fair enough."
Yeah.
Right. Now, that was undermining Brenda Porter's responsibility. And this is what part of what I told them at the tribunal. And she won her case.
Yeah. So who's the one doing all this problem?
What problem?
Who is the one who masterminded this problem to sack Manager B?
They didn't sack her.
No, I mean,
They didn't sack. She was constructively dismissed by the manager.
so it's the manager's plan then.
Yeah, because they fell out. They fell out.
How did they fell out?
Because the manager, Sue Coyle,
Yeah.
thought that Brenda was after her job as manager.
So you mean to say?
She was jealous.
So you mean to say, probably Manager B is doing her job well, and she's not doing properly.
I'm not saying that
Or
she wasn't, but she thought she was after her job.
How?
Don't ask me, Pat. I'm not the manager, am I?
If she got her duties
I'm the
and
manager.
responsibilities,
Huh?
and she got her duties, the Manager B.
She thought she was trying to get her job. Right. And so they fell out. She didn't tell that to Brenda Porter. Brenda Porter told that to me.
It's more in jealousy then.
Yeah. And so the relationship between them, manager and assistant manager, broke down. And so she then tried to get, by doing all these things, to get her out. And in the end, Brenda left.
So she caused nuisance to her.
She what?
She caused nuisance.
She came in one evening when she knew I was on my, well, not on my own, but with the other 1 or 2 other staff.
Yeah.
She come in to talk to me.
Manager B.
Yeah. And she come in and she told me that I knew she'd left, obviously. And she come in and she said, "Do you know the circumstances of me leaving?" I said, "I just know that you left, resigned."
So did she file a resignation?
She resigned.
So
Like you did from your.
Yeah, and then?
And she says, "I don't know if you..." I said, "Well, I know you resigned." I said, she said, "But you don't know the circumstances." I said, "No." So she said, "Well," and then she said, "Well, I've been undermined by Sue Coyle."
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh." So she said, "You know a lot about my duties." I said, "Yeah, of course I do." She says, "You know how you used to phone me up if you had an incident at the home." I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
She said, "So you know that Sue Coyle took that away and told you to phone her?" I said, "Yeah."
How did she know, by the way?
"What do you mean?"
How did she know that?
How did that? What do you mean? How she know? Well,
Ah.
if she's not getting phone calls anymore, she knows, doesn't she?
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like,
So you don't get. She
let's
doesn't have any more
leave.
phone calls. Yeah.
Huh?
So she doesn't have many phone calls.
Yeah, so she said, I've taken legal advice. I've been to a solicitor, and there's a tribunal pending. I said, yeah. She said, how do you feel about telling the tribunal, giving evidence to the tribunal about the situation which only you know about? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, I'll do that. Because
So,
I didn't like the manager.
yeah.
So my enemy's enemy is my friend.
Yeah. So.
Oh, what's that?
So she filed a resignation, and then she consulted the solicitor, and then she applied in the tribunal.
She through a solicitor, they applied to a tribunal, which is held in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And the date was set for the hearing.
Yeah.
And we went down, and
are you the only witness?
Huh?
Are you the only witness?
No, there was another witness, but they never called him because he was a little. To be quite honest, he didn't know how to give evidence.
You have to give it.
You know.
It's like, I can't.
He was a bit over the top with his evidence.
How is it?
Yeah, and they thought I was a better witness to be called. You know.
So when you witness, and then the tribunal agreed to her, and she won the case.
Yeah.
What happened when you came back to work?
Well, obviously she
knew.
She was there. She didn't like it.
Of
course she didn't. So
what did she do to you?
She tried all sorts of things.
Nuisance to you as well.
To get at me.
So she's trying to
she wasn't going to force me out like that.
So she's doing the same thing to you.
Yeah, more or less.
So giving you a hard time. So what did she do after that?
Well, I told you about the laundry, for instance.
Yeah.
She called me in the office and said, "Oh, we want you to do laundry." I said, "No."
I don't know.
She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm not doing laundry." She said, "Will you put that in writing?" I said, "Yeah, certainly I will." I said, "When I come in here," I said, "I could have taken the laundry job at Greaves Hall Hospital, which was open at the time."
Yeah.
And I said, "I turned it down because it was laundry."
Yeah.
I said, "When I come in here, there's no talk about me doing laundry, so I'm not doing laundry."
Yeah, it's not part of the job.
She said, "Oh, well, can you put that in writing?" I said, "Yes, certainly I'll put it in writing." And I did do. And I give it.
Yeah.
There's no more laundry said about it.
So did she do another nuisance to you?
She tried all sorts of things.
Like there's a second one.
Huh?
There's a second one you said that you can't have meal in the home.
Yeah, she tried that. She come to me again. This was after the tribunal.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh," she said, she said, "David, that's the chef."
Oh, me.
No, the David, the chef. She didn't say David. She said the chef is leaving your meals every night. I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, we're going to have to stop that." So I said, "Oh, are you?" So she said, "Yes." She said, "It's going to become company policy." So I said, "Oh, well," I said, "as you know," I said,